Oh baby, today on the channel we've got the brand new Mattel Creations exclusive Coliseum collection, Terry Funk and Hulk Hogan.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for something extra special here today. As today on the channel, we've got the brand new Mattel Creations Coliseum collection, Hulk Hogan and Terry Funk. And these are a Mattel Creations exclusive. These are going up for sale Friday, November 11th, as you can see right here, and you can see the times going to be different depending where you live. But Friday, November 11th is your chance to get Hulk Hogan and Terry Funk. Got to give a huge shout out to Mattel for sending these to me early to review. Very, very appreciative. Very, very cool to get these. It was a nice surprise after a long business week. Taking a trip up to Wisconsin. Stay tuned for that video here on the channel as well. But came home to this very nice surprise, and you guys know I've been waiting for this one. This Hulk Hogan is one of my favorite versions of Hulk Hogan ever. Of course, these are a throwback to the old LJN packaging and figures. And the Terry Funk, you guys know I'm a funker at the end of the day. He is on my Mount Rushmore, so I'm very excited to get these out of the pack, see what all the fuss is about. And like I said, available only on MattelCreations.com on Friday, November 11th. That's going to be your chance to get these, so if you want them, man, get after that one. Very, very cool. This Coliseum collection going to be really cool to see where this line goes to. Of course, we got Sergeant Slaughter last year from the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. This is just a straight up Mattel Creations. Got to think we're going to get some more of these. Hogan and Terry Funk, I don't know if it makes all the sense in the world. They were both in the LJN line. Of course, they had a match. I believe it was Saturday Night's Main Event back in the day. But we know this line, I think what Mattel is doing, if you throw Andre and Hulk in here, man, you're going to sell all day long. You're going to get that thing sold out immediately. Heck, this will probably sell out pretty close to immediately. But they want to mix it up with maybe somebody that's not as popular. Terry Funk, of course, I gotta, take that business step back. I have to do that from time to time. Hogan, of course, is the main draw here. Terry Funk is a little bit more the ancillary. And I think that's what we're going to see with some of these other ones. Maybe we get a Roddy Piper. That's a huge one. And maybe you pair him, let's just say an Adrian Adonis or a Cowboy Bob Orton Ultimate. Obviously, you know who the A and B guy is there. So I think that's a good way. It's a good way to get extra figures out. And that seems to be the way they're going, but you never know. Things do change. But without further ado, one thing that doesn't change is we are going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We'll do some comparisons later on in this very video. So without further ado, let's look at the packaging. Very similar to the Sergeant Slaughter. Obviously, being a two-pack, it's a little bit deeper, a little bit bigger. You got the old top. You got a little saying right there at the top. There it is. What's it say? Hulkamania's running wild, brother. Say your prayers and eat your vitamins, Hulkamaniacs. Or on the bottom, which really should have been the top. Come on, there's old Terry Funk right there on the bottom. It says, "The man from Double Cross Ranch, you're nothing but an egg-sucking dog." And he says, "Looking at you, Dusty Rhodes, looking at you." But very cool. And it says adult collector down here on the bottom. You get Hulk and Terry, a little glamour shot action. I like that one. Love Terry's face on this one. The artwork is very cool. Ultimate Edition on the side. And then, of course, you get old Terry Funk right there. The old Double Cross Ranch legend Terry Funk. And on the back, you get the Hulkster doing his Hulkster thing. Always love this incarnation of the Hulkster back to my playing days. And like I said, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But nice big box on this guy. Of course, it does open up on the side. You get a little thing there. Very cool that they even got detail onto the opener right there. So you got WWF, and then you get the package. So then you get them in here. They are stacked. So I'm going to pull out the old Funker. There's Terry Funk. And then there is a separator piece of cardboard here. Very, very cool. This separates and protects the two figures, of course. Makes the bubble not get all scratched up, maybe scuffed up possibly. But it also doubles as a very cool background. So you can put your figures in front of these, the Coliseum collection. How cool is that? And then on the back, we've seen something like this before in the Flashback Elite Wave, but it's the old school WWE background there. So you can use this for some figure photography purposes if you are so inclined. So I'm definitely hanging on to that, definitely saving that. Then we get the Hulkster out of the package, and we'll go through those. But let's look at the rest of this. You got that familiar LJN type crowd. We saw a little bit of it with Slaughter. Looks like we got some new faces in the crowd. I don't really know a lot of these people, but I'm sure they're Mattel employees' kids, things like that. But very cool. How awesome would that be to be forever immortalized in the packaging of this? Very, very cool. I like it a whole lot. It goes Hulkamaniac, forever, forever, forever. Don't mess with the Hulkster. Just very, very cool packaging here. A nice box. Definitely got to keep this box. Gonna give it the gentle see you later over to the side. You got to be careful with that kind of stuff. I'm saving that. Of course, I'm a member of the Double Up Club and my Ultimates. These are technically Ultimates. They are Ultimates. So I'll be a part of that. I'll have a loose set that we're doing here, and then I'm going to order like everybody else and get myself a mint-on-card set, so hopefully that goes well. Put the Hulkster there. We're starting with Terry Funk. We're starting with the Funker. We're starting with old Terry Funk here. Gotta do it. Coliseum Collection, Ultimate Edition, Terry Funk. How cool is this? Very similar to the Sergeant Slaughter. Absolutely do love this. One little gripe I got with this packaging on this is there is no peg hole. There's nothing like that. So let's say you wanted to store this on your wall. You wanted to have a nice display of these across the wall. You don't have that option. I don't know if there's a protector case. That's what you would have to get, a protector case that has the JPEG up there that you could hang on the wall. But as it is right now, you can't display this like some of the other mint-on-card stuff. So that would be really cool if they would have had a peg in there to do that, but not in the cards here, one way or the other. Coliseum Collection, WWE logo, very cool Terry Funk background right there. And then, of course, you got old Terry Funk in the package, his name. On the back, we got the old cross-sell. Check out the Sergeant Slaughter review from last year, of course. Hogan and Terry were doing in this video. We got the old school file card blurb, just like the old LJN days. Love this love letter, inspired by the LJN. And, of course, LJN is my era. That's my first wrestling figures I grew up on as a little kid. Now, I could see if you're, an 18-year-old dude out there, and you're like, yeah, LJNs, those are dog toys, whatever. It's just not for you as much as it is for maybe collectors of LJN. And there's definitely people younger than me that had LJNs, maybe they were passed down, things like that. But this is really the love note to the LJN collector, collectors of yesteryear, you might say. Who knows, maybe in another 20 years we'll have Ultimate Edition Ruthless Aggression line in these. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. But let's read the back here. Let's see. Coliseum Collection Terry Funk, one of the WWE's wildest individuals, this native of Amarillo, Texas, oh, beautiful this time of year, is regarded as a force to be reckoned with. His actions in the ring remind one of a barroom brawl. Managed by Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, Terry seems to enjoy dishing out punishment to his opponents, defeating them, then using his branding iron on them. Accessories include poncho, chaps, branding iron, hat, swappable heads, swappable hands. Twist them, turn them, battle them. The Ultimate Collection. Very, very cool. And I love, you can just slide this bad boy out. You slide that out, whoop, and you're off to the races. There it all is. And then, of course, you get the little box down here that puts all the accessories in it. Really, really neat packaging. Very, very cool packaging. I absolutely do love it a lot. So we're going to go through all this, but let's look at this card here. Very cool card art. Would be awesome if Terry Funk was making town, signing autographs to get his old John Hancock right there. How good would that look? Terry, how's your horse? Absolutely love that. I just noticed that. Forever, forever, forever. Terry, how's your horse? So that is a deep cut to longtime fans. When Terry Funk gave his notice to Vince McMahon, said, I gotta quit. I gotta quit, Vince. I got a sick horse. And then I think he went to Japan a week later. So very cool tongue-in-cheek. That's the kind of stuff I really, really do like. Nothing on the inside there. I was thinking for some reason there was something, but it's just cardboard inside. But very, very cool. Very cool. Absolutely love it. You guys know. Absolutely love that. So Terry Funk off to the races. Let's break into this box. Accessories included inside. Much like we saw with Sergeant Slaughter, we get this little box, and then we get 2 extra heads. We get the extra hands. We got the plastic prison. There it is. And oh boy, all right, here's what we got. And I guess, you see these things promoted way back when, and then it's a long gap until they're actually in our hands, so you start to kind of forget about what's exactly in here. But these hands here, of course, you got Terry Funk with a gripping hand and a fist. You got the matching versions over here. Got to have that. Terry Funk's got to have some fists, we all know. But then I love the heavy metal hands for Terry Funk because Terry Funk, OG metalhead, absolutely loves metalhead. He was rocking Black Sabbath in the 70s. Or maybe this is the old, the Stan Hansen, the ooh thing right there. Maybe it's not as much heavy metal. But I want to believe. But I do like this option for Terry Funk. I think that does work. So it looks really good. We'll talk about these heads here in a second. But let's get Terry Funk out of the packaging. And there's Terry in the old plastic prison. Looking really good here. Absolutely do love that. Now, one thing that I believe these are different than the Sergeant Slaughter. I don't think Sergeant Slaughter was buckled in any way or form. Now, we're buckled in with Terry Funk here. We're locked in at the legs. We're locked in at the top there. So now, the thing about these lines are you can usually put your figures back in. Well, you're definitely going to be able to tell if this has been put back in or not because you're going to have to bust out these twist ties and things to get Terry out of the package. So if you're rebuying one of these, let's say a year from now you're on eBay trying to get one of these, you're going to know if this was out of the package or not. So that's one of those things you got to make sure you're looking for. So there it is off to the side. See you later. Got the little branding iron. Oh, it's all wrapped up here. What are we doing? What are we doing? We got plastic wrapped in the branding iron. Can I get it? There it is. Off to the races. Oh my gosh. Twist ties everywhere. Around the waist, around the arms. It's all over the place. It's even got even more around the waist. So they don't want Terry going anywhere, but I do appreciate that because it keeps it nice looking in the package. Keeps his chaps and his vest and everything weighted down. It definitely looks good. All right, let's get down to the race here. Let's start with the heads on Terry Funk here. And we get a little bit of a plain Jane Terry Funk head. Let's see here. So he's got one eye bigger than the other, which does match the front of the packaging we saw earlier. And then this head, okay, so very similar hairdos on Terry, very similar to the time frame, the LJN time frame, which this is based off of. But you got the kind of squinty eye version, that's the default head here. You get a little bit more madder head for Terry Funk, looking off to the side a little bit, showing a little bit of teeth. So we do have that, and then we get the straight up maniacal Terry Funk, which is probably the one to use. Got the mouth open, ready to go. Very, very cool looking here on Terry Funk. Great hairdo, got the goatee. Got everything. It definitely looks like Terry Funk, but Terry Funk's a hard one. If somebody just gave you this head and said, who is this? 50-50, 50-50. I mean, Terry Funk is a hard one to get. Later Terry Funk, ECW area Terry Funk, I think that's a more recognizable head to a lot of modern day fans, I would say. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But let's keep breaking down this Terry Funk figure. First off, we get the hat here, and why not? Let's get off to the races here. Let's get the LJN Terry Funk going on. Now, I might as well start. Let's start with this little gripe here. Now, I absolutely love this figure. Of course I do. I love to get a Terry Funk. An Ultimate Terry Funk seems too good to be true. But I will say, this is, of course, the LJN version of Terry Funk. A childhood favorite toy of mine. Launched those pile drivers all the time when I was a little kid. Absolutely loved it. Now, it's interesting that this depicts the poster off the LJN of Terry Funk, where this is the actual LJN. Now, to me, I would have preferred LJN-inspired gear. I want this Terry Funk to look like this Terry Funk. I wish we had the green chaps on this one. I don't think he ever really wore green chaps in real life, but to bring this over, I would have really liked to see that. So this is more of Terry Funk off the poster of the LJN instead of just the straight-up LJN. But that being said, the hats, very similar between the two. You got the nice yellowish kind of cowboy hat with the red band around it. Looking really good. You do get the branding iron, which I believe first time in the line branding iron. We've had them before, but we've never had this one. A little bit bigger, a little bit meatier, a lot nicer. Love the silver on the end, on the black on the handle. Very, very good looking right there. Absolutely do like that. And then you get Terry Funk. Of course, he does have his poncho. He's got his poncho. He's Poncho Villa, I guess, getting coffee out in the fields. Who knows? But, of course, Terry Funk wore a lot of this. In the old school WWE days, WWF days of the early 80s, this is what Terry had. He had his chaps on. He had his poncho on. I mean, this is a fairly good representation of Terry Funk for the time, and I am actually here for it. You guys know Terry Funk, a longtime fan right here in old Kyle. Does he fit on a ringside stand? I'm sure that is the case. Let's do that real quick right now. He does fit right there. And I want to do a little quick comparison too before we get too far into this. Of course, we did get a Legends version way back in the day of Terry Funk, and they also re-released it as a, what was it, a Kmart Hall of Fame exclusive as well. So very similar, and that's one of the gripes a lot of people have is it's basically an upgraded version to the Ultimate. There's not a ton of differences here, but of course there's differences in the head sculpt, differences in the articulation, things like that. You can see the branding iron, similar but different, got a little thicker handle going on. It does look nicer on this new one, so I do like that. But you can see comparison between all these of what they were really going for. We'll put Terry off to the side here, but still a very good Terry. All this stuff is removable, of course. Articulation-wise, it's your similar Ultimate figure. The arms go all the way around. You do get a bicep cut. Double-jointed, pinless elbows. You get the hands removable, hands side to side. Head removable, head side to side. No limitations with that of any kind. You do get the big hula hoop at the top. You do get the big old Terry Funk splits if he needs to do the old splits. You can jump some cattle, something like that. So you do get the splits. You do get the thigh cut. You do get the double jointed knees. Of course, nope, not pinless. So you do get just regular traditional knees, but they are double jointed. You got the boot cut. You got the ankles up and down, back and forth. Then you get the old McFarlane toy articulation. Everybody loves that. You do get black knee pads. Interesting, the painted on gray, kind of the knee sleeves underneath. So you definitely got to leave these knee pads on or it would look really strange with that gray painted on underneath. He does have the red trunks. Beautiful look here on the chaps there. He's got a little, just, you know, it just looks like a normal cowboyish chaps. You know what a cowboy would wear. You cowboys know what I'm talking about. But very cool. I like the fur on the side, the red against it, and of course it does match his trunks. It does match the poncho. This does Velcro around his waist, does have some straps on the back to support. Just a very, very good Terry Funk for the time. You know I'm excited for this one. I would have preferred it to have green chaps and look like this, but I'll take what I can get in the Terry Funk department. It is so cool to have a Terry Funk Ultimate because a lot of these guys we never thought we'd ever get an Ultimate for. Terry Funk, obviously the hardcore legend, big time Hall of Famer, but we got to be honest with ourselves. He's not going to quite move the needle like a Hulk Hogan, some of the bigger ones, the Macho Man, the Ultimate Warriors of the world. I understand that. But it's just so cool to get a Terry Funk Ultimate. We do know Bill McKenna is a huge Terry Funk fan, so I think that really does help with some of this. So I'm hopeful that we get more Terry Funks in the Elite line and maybe the Ultimate line down the road. But you can't go wrong with this version of Terry Funk. It's old school LJN style. I think it does work for what they're trying to go. The only gripe I have, I would have liked to seen the green chaps, but it is what it is. But Terry Funk, a must-have for a Funker like me. Now we turn our attention to the main event. I think a lot of people are buying it for this. I know some people are selling their Terry Funk off. I might be a buyer. You guys know I need multiples of this Terry Funk for sure. We got another Terry. I guess it's a Terry 2-pack at the end of the day. It's Hulk Hogan. Yes, Hulk Hogan. Terry Bollea, there he is. And very similar packaging like we saw with the Terry Funk. You got the Hulkster in the background, WWE logo, Coliseum collection. I absolutely love that the Hulkster is posed like his LJN figure in the package. Now, this is one of the black card Hulk Hogans. It's very hard to get one, and I've told the story on the channel before. When I was a little kid, I got all these black cards. I got this one when I was a little kid out of the back of a magazine. My dad really stepped up to the plate. I was so excited, and this was always my favorite Hulk Hogan to play with as an LJN, and it wasn't until many, many, many years later I realized there was a red version of this Hulk Hogan. I thought there was only the white version, but the more you know, kids, the more you know. But very cool, very iconic to me playing with my LJNs as a little kid. Hulk Hogan down here. On the back, we got that blur, we got the cross-sell, we got all that stuff. Let's read what it says about our old buddy Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, the WWE Heavyweight Champion, is one of the best known and most charismatic athletes in the history of sports and entertainment. The real American from Venice Beach, beautiful this time of year, has captured the imagination and won the hearts of legions of Hulkamaniacs from around the world. Anytime the Hulkster is around, Hulkamania runs wild. That's very true. I don't sense any lies in that. No lies there. Accessories include WWE Championship, entrance shirt, necklace, swappable heads, swappable hands. So there it is. Now let's pull it out. Let's pull the old Hulkster out of the back here. See what all the fuss is about. And we got anything here. Don't mess with the Hulkster. Hulkamaniac. And then we got some of those members of the crowd once again. I see Robert Rudman. I see Steve Ozier right there. I see two right hanging out down low. And like I said before, I think a lot of these guys are probably Mattel employees, I would have to think. Friends and family, maybe something like that. But looks really good. Love the packaging on this. A Gentle off to the side. See you later. How about a little plastic prison? The old Hulkster doing his thing. Absolutely love that. Pull this out. And of course, we get the box with all the accessories. Going to put this off to the side. Another Gentle see you later. And then you get Hulk Hogan. There it is. Accessories inside. So very similar to the Terry Funk. Very similar to the Sergeant Slaughter one we've seen in the past. Put this over here. Oh my gosh, we got two things here. Two sets. We got all kinds of extra hands for the Hulkster. Gotta have the Hulkster. The Hulkster must pose, as one might say. We get the pointing fingers, we get the gripping hands, we get two hands, and then we get the old Hulkamania hands right there. So he's got all the hands he does need. He's got the opposite. He's got the fists going on. He's got two fists of fury like the Hulkster should have. I always loved the Hulkster punches as a little kid. Even if I wasn't a big Hulkamaniac, I always liked it when the punches started to be thrown there for the Hulkster. He is locked in, much like we saw with Terry Funk. So you're going to be able to tell, okay, this has been open prior, unlike the Sergeant Slaughter that you could replace and put in as needed. So there's some differences there. Pull him out of the package. Uh-oh, we got one locked in on the foot. I missed that one. And there it is. So we got those going. And we're off to the races. Going to put this off another, once again, a Gentle see you later off to the side. Move Terry out of the way. I don't want to be knocking Terry over. And we're off to the, oh my gosh, we still got another twist tie around there, keeping his necklace down. And not anymore. Cut out. So the Hulkster is free. He is ready to go. Let's start with these accessories here. We talked about the hands, I guess. We don't need to really do that again. You got the pointing hands. You got the splayed out hands. And then, of course, we got two gripping hands, two fists of fury on him. looking at the head sculpts on the Hulkster, we got coked out Hulk Hogan right there. He is ready to go. He is fired up in the early 80s. He looks absolutely wild. I do really like this. And one thing right away, hot dog tan. Love hot dog tan Hulk Hogan. That's the way Hulkster figures need to be. Looks tremendous with that tan on him. The other heads here for the Hulkster, you got just kind of your paint by numbers Hulk Hogan head here. Just kind of a plain Jane, a little bit of a smile going on. Not a bad one there. And then you got one that's a little bit more grimacing, a little bit more, you know, something like that. And I believe we've seen all these head sculpts before. And it truly is choose your own adventure. That's the tough thing about these Ultimates. Which head are you going to put on there? If you're a big Hulkamaniac fan, you can put extra heads, get an extra one, have one without the shirt, one with the shirt, different heads. Choose your own adventure, as we always say. But very good heads. Paint by number Hulk Hogan heads, but that's what you want in an Ultimate Edition. You don't want some really zany thing that Hulkster never did. These are really Hulk looks that he's done in the past. Now we're going to get down to business with Hogan. Gosh, we've got a strap around his head, keeping that headband on. So let me get that off. So we got that. So he does come with a headband. And how hard does that stay? Okay, it stays on. It stays on fair. It hides a little bit into the hair. Now, we've seen that before, but it is the nice red strap headband going on. The Hulkster, got to keep that in. I don't know if that will work. No, it'll work for all of them. It'll work for all the heads, so you do have that. He does got his cross, of course, underneath. Mine is a little twisted, so I'm going to have to straighten that thing out, but we've seen that cross before with other Hulk Hogans. We've seen this body style for Hulk Hogan in the past as well. He is looking like he just got off a horse because he is posed in the package there. So he's got a little of that right off the horse look, so that might take some straightening out, maybe even a little hair dryer. If it doesn't go right away. Of course, articulation is going to be the exact same as Terry Funk. That's the ultimate articulation we get these days. But boy, oh boy, is this iconic looking to me with the white shirt. Of course, it's their tearaway shirt in the front. Hulkamania across, basically like the one we've seen in red, but if this time it is in white. He does got the white painted on wrist tape. I got a little bit of paint extra right there, so that's a little disappointing. So it looks like it bled down a little bit. But very cool. Of course, he has white knee pads, white boots, red trunks. Now, I'm not sure if the Hulkster ever really wore this outfit. I think he wore something very similar, maybe a white shirt one time, but I think this was more of a made-up outfit, which I'm fine with. I am fine with that. One of the big things here, and one of the coolest things about this pack, and I'm going to pull this off right now, is we did get the LJN belt. So very cool to get a throwback LJN belt. I know a lot of people said they want the green belt. The Iron Sheik belt is what I always think of it as. That's when I first remember seeing that for the first time. And of course, that was the Hulkster's first belt he won. This isn't quite it. I could see why people would want that, but for me, this being a throwback to the LJN days, I'm okay with this being an LJN belt. And of course, I have one of those LJN belts right here off to the side. So very cool, much improved, obviously, some 30 years later here, but very cool. A big belt, probably the biggest belt we've had from the Mattel line so far, so it does look really good. World Wrestling Entertainment Heavyweight Champion. An ugly belt, though, at the end of the day. Not the prettiest belt of all time, but it is really cool, and I like that they gave us that. It'll be interesting if we get one of those again in this Coliseum collection down the line. But it does look good on the Hulkster. I'm definitely keeping it on the Hulkster because that belt changed hands a lot of times when Kyle was a little kid playing with his action figures, playing with his wrestlers. I forgot to mention the butterfly shoulders, of course. I forgot to mention that when I was going through with Terry Funk, but we do have those on here as well. Always look better with a t-shirt to kind of block that articulation. Always looks just a little strange to me. But boy, oh boy, is this Hulkster cool. Does he fit on a ringside collectible stand? Yes, he does. And of course, I get those at Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Looking really good. And then here it is. There is the LJN Hulk. This is based off of, like I said, a child favorite. Just the great playability of this Hulk Hogan. He had a lot of wars when I was a little kid. He looked up at the lights a lot of times, the Ultimate Warrior. I got to be honest, when I was a little kid as well. But very cool for childhood nostalgia right here. If you're a kid of the 80s, getting this version of Hulk Hogan. And like I said earlier, there was another version that I never even knew existed till many years later. Hulk Hogan in the red and yellow. And it's kind of funny that we also got the Ultimate Edition. Uh-oh, we're not standing up anywhere. Hulkster's making his last stand, we'll call it. All right, Hulkster, stay right there. There we go. And then we got this one. So very cool to get different interpretations, I guess, of the Ultimates. So you get the Ultimates in front of these. I think that is a really neat thing. Very cool for Hulk Hogan fans. It has to be very cool. It's very cool for me as well. So I like both representations here going on. Just a little differences on here, but enough to be dangerous, we'll call it. So I'm going to put these off to the side. but not too shabby. For the Coliseum collection, I think he had to start in hot. I don't know how often we're going to get these. Will we get these figures every couple of months? Is that going to be the case? Is it going to be similar to the Masters of the Universe, how we've gotten Keldor and Grizzlor, things like that on a consistent enough basis? Will that be the case with these? Like once a quarter we'll get these, or maybe they'll alternate them with the retros. That could be a possibility, but I'm very anxious to find out what the next set. Will we get like a Big John Studd, Andre the Giant 2-pack? Our Roddy Piper, Adrian Adonis, Roddy Piper, Cowboy Bob Orton. There's a lot of cool packs they really could do in Ultimate Edition, and I think some of the more deep cut characters that maybe wouldn't sell so well as an Ultimate at retail could have a home in this line, and you're playing all the hits to the audience that wants it on Mattel Creations. So I do think this is really the wave of the future to get us some more deep cut characters, and if you're interested in this, we got to support this to make sure we get more of this stuff in the future. I don't think we'll have any trouble supporting this. I'm not sure if it's going to sell out as fast as Zeus and Hulk Hogan did earlier for San Diego Comic-Con. We do know they're going to be about a $70 price point, it sounds like, plus I would imagine shipping on top of that. But I do think they will sell out, especially with the Hulkster being in there. And I want to say Terry Funk, but we all know the Hulkster, pretty popular, moves some merchandise. I think he will sell very well here. This is quite the pack, and this is the beginnings of this Coliseum collection. So if you need to go back and get the Slaughter, he's come down a little bit. The black card's still a little bit high, but the other ones come down a little bit. You grab that, you grab this pack, you're a completionist, and you can follow along as these do start coming out on MattelCreations.com. I would follow Mattel Creations and Mattel so you know for sure when the new ones are coming out. Or, of course, subscribe to this very channel because we'll tell you all about it in the toy news, weekly purchases, all that kind of stuff. And on social media as well. So subscribe to the channel. Give this video the old thumbs up. You made it this far. Don't forget about the Patreon. We got all kinds of bonus content, early access to videos, things like that. Don't forget about social media, SirPaul64 over there on Twitter, and Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Hulk Hogan and Terry Funk Coliseum Collection, I am Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.